Friday. Woohoo, it's Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. Starting a new vlog today to finish out the week of weird. Got just a couple of days left. So let's see what the next couple of days bring us as we are wrapping up the event. All right. Oh, and it's St. Patty's Day, so I got my green on, of course. Hi, I'm home from work. It's Friday. I finished Spawn today at work. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, you guys. Have you read this yet? You really should, because it's really wonderful. I loved it. And the audiobook was fantastic. I think I mentioned already that the narrator was Bonnie Turpin, like one of my favorite audiobook narrators. I love Bonnie Turpin, and she rocked this. It's hard to talk about what Born is about, but let me try. So we live in a world that it's been ruined, I think sort of, humanity has been its worst enemy, and the world has just gone to shit. And so there's not many, folks left around, but there are also these sort of creatures that are left around that are, called biotech, because this is something what happened, kind of what aided in our downfall was this conglomerate called the company, and giving us things that we really didn't need, but we thought we needed because the company said we need them. And they created these things like biotech, which are like, like animals and things, but they're not real. They're not like, they're just human made. I think what I'm trying to say, right? It's been a long week. So this, like I said, this remnants of this world that's left, we're following our main character is Rachel, and she is surviving in this world with sort of a companion named Wick, and we're in their little section of this, city where they live. There's this creature thing called Mord, and he's kind of like ruler of this thing. He's like this huge sort of flying bear part creature, and she discovers this little thing called, and she names it Born. She's not quite sure what Born is when she meets him. Is it a plant? Is it an animal? Is it a biotech? Is it something that's real? No one knows. Born kind of grows up a little bit and forms what Born is, and he's this sort of globulous, sort of tentacly type of creature, and Rachel is sort of like teaching it the ways of the world and all that good stuff. Things happen, all this kind of thing. There's some secrets. Things aren't quite what they seem. I loved it. I don't really know how else to talk about it because it is kind of weird. It is a little weird. But it's also really lovely. And of course, also really about sort of found family, friends and family, a little bit of nature versus nurture, discussion here perhaps. Of course, this consumeristic society, how much stuff do we really need, and what about when those things that we really need actually kind of take over our lives and then actually destroy us, that whole thing. Yeah, it's wonderful. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. 5 stars, baby. I loved it. And, yeah, I loved it. So I'm so excited I finally read this. There is a book too. I'm definitely gonna be reading that at some point this year, called Dead Astronauts. And now the title of Dead Astronauts makes sense to me, because I was like, how does Dead Astronauts link into Born? Makes sense now. If you know, you know. So yeah, I'm super jazzed. So here's one little thing that I highlighted in the book. So let me read it to you. So Rachel's kind of out and about, and she sees, it's a tangled mass of warehouses and rusted industry, lay every excuse and promise of a death foretold. Inert, empty, silent, vast. But here, those were the smokestacks that had killed off this part of the world. Those were the assembly lines that had choked us with products we did not need and had to be told we wanted, before the company had snuck in and shown us our truest, deepest desires. I thought that was pretty kind of poignant for the whole book. So yeah, I loved it. And Jeff Vandermeer is an awesome follow on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, he has a lot of like animal cams set up around his property, so he's always sharing like animal pictures and stuff. Very neat. Yeah, loved it. Loved it. So this was my sort of my big book for the week, and I did get through it. So, loved it. So like I said, it's Friday evening. I don't know what we're gonna. Well, we didn't watch The Mandalorian last night, so I think we're probably watching Mandalorian tonight. We're going to the zoo tomorrow, so maybe I'll bring you along with us to the zoo for a little bit. Maybe it's a zoo, but. And then we're just gonna be winding down. I hope to maybe sneak in a few more short stories. But I don't know what I'm gonna get to. I didn't get to hardly anything. I had on my, this big stack of books I had, which was fine. I knew I wasn't going to, but that's fine. So yeah, we'll see where the rest of the weekend takes us. Hey, just a quick little check-in. Just got home a little bit ago and had some dinner, all that good stuff. We had a really nice day at the zoo today. Ended up just being my son going because my husband woke up not feeling very well. And so it's just the two of us. So we had a little mother-son date, and then we had a really good time. Our local Down syndrome group, this is the second year now that they've done this. They call it Paint the Zoo Blue and Yellow, and it's for celebrating World Down Syndrome Day, which is coming up on 3/21. And so they, give us little discounted tickets and all that kind of stuff. And, other families with, that have kiddos with Down syndrome are there, or adults. There was adults there too, but, families that have someone with Down syndrome in their life, right? And so it was fun. And what's cool is they did this raffle. It's just part of the day, and I won. So I won like a full year's annual pass to the zoo. So that's pretty exciting. North Carolina actually has a really wonderful zoo. I know people feel a certain way about zoos sometimes, but I really love our zoo, and they put a lot of work into the habitats, and yeah, it's a really nice zoo. And where else you can see polar bears up close and giraffes, and it's an amazing experience. So I got I love my homies with extra chromie shirt that I'll wear. So yeah, it was a fun day. It was cool. It was actually kind of chilly for this time of year, so I think that helped with a lot of the animals being like out and active, because usually we go and it's like hot and the animals are just like, oh, it's so hot because it's North Carolina. So the animals are, a lot of them, I don't know when I've seen the polar bear. We've, the past, probably 3 or 4 visits, I've not seen that polar bear. And we saw both of the polar bears this time. So, just a great day. The grizzly bear was just out, and the cougar, we just saw almost all the animals today. So what a great day. So like I said, I'm home, so we'll kind of, wind down for the evening and hope to read a little bit more to finish out the week of weird, of course. So I'll check in when I'm done on what I want to do for the rest of the night. All right. Oh, I watched episode 7 of Moonlight Chicken last night, and it killed me. Sobbing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I literally just started reading a short story from this collection by Larry Barron called Old Virginia. And when you start a story or any book, whatever, And like by the fourth paragraph, you're like, holy hell, this is gonna be good. Yeah, this. Yeah. Let me read it to you. On the third morning, I noticed that somebody had disabled the truck. All 4 tires were flattened and the engine was smashed. Nice work. I had gone outside the cabin to catch the sunrise and piss on some bushes. It was cold. The air tasted like metal. Deep, dark forest at our backs, with a few notches for stars. A rutted track wound across a marshy field into more wilderness. All was silent except for the muffled hum of the diesel generator behind the woodshed. Well, here we go, I said. I fired up a lucky strike and congratulated my pessimistic nature. The Reds had found our happy little retreat in the woods. Or possibly one of my boys was a mole. That would put a pretty bow on things. The men were already spooked. Davis swore he had heard chuckling and whispering behind the steel door after curfew. He also heard one of the doctors gibbering in a foreign tongue. Nonsense, of course. Nonetheless, the troops were edgy, and now this. Like, I'm hooked already. I'm like, okay, curfew after midnight. Okay, something's going on. Okay. Yeah. I'll figure out what's going on. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing. And Max said, I'll eat you up. So he was sent to bed without eating anything. You ever go grocery shopping and you're like sort of perpetually stuck behind the same person going down each aisle and they're like always in your way? Seriously, get out of the way. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this vlog up. The weekend got a little bit away from me, so Sunday we got a little busy. So I ended up reading one more story. I did finish Old Virginia from the Imago sequence, which is this collection from Laird Barron, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. I don't even want to say too much about it because it's such a good story. I think you just need to read it. But there was this really cool reference to like the Lost Colony, which like here in North Carolina, like that's like a big deal. Like it's a big part of our history here. The Lost Colony, where did this colony go, and the mystery of Croatoa, and yeah. So that's kind of was part of that story. So that was kind of cool, and I loved it. So I'm gonna try to get to the rest of the stories in here like sooner rather than later, really, honestly. Because it was good. So let's kind of wrap up the entire week of Weird. I ended up reading quite a lot. That's my whole list of things I read. So, Casting the Rains by M.R. James, Wasp and Snake, mostly short stories. Wasp and Snake by Livia Llewellyn, White Rabbits by Leonora Carrington, Wall of Kiss, the old wall love story by Gina Ranalli, Fish in Exile, a nice novella by Vicky Now. Lots about grief and loss. Yeah, that was great. Agents of Dreamland novella by Caitlin R. Kiernan. The House on the Borderland by William Hope Hodgson. That Which Does Not Kill You, short story by Lucy Snyder. The rest of these were short stories. Stem in the Tide by Simon Stranzis. When the Zombies Win by Karina Summer Smith. Rabbit Heart by Alyssa Wong. The Summer People by Shirley Jackson. Loved it. The Dark by Karen Joy Fowler. Born by Jeff Vandermeer. That was my big book for the week. Loved it. The Color Out of Space by H.P. Lovecraft. That was great. The Lizard of Ooze by Jay Lake. And then Old Virginia by Laird Barron. Is that it? I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing something, but I think that's it. And yeah, I really liked everything. I had a good time with all of these stories and books and novellas and all kinds of good stuff. So audiobooks, physical books. Yeah, I read a little bit of everything. I'm trying to think what was like the weirdest, and I think probably Lizard of Ooze by Jay Lake was pretty weird because it was this whole like underground society, and that was pretty strange. The House on the Borderland got pretty weird too. And Wall of Kiss was just weird. It was just kind of weird all the way around, wasn't it? Yeah, I just had a great week of Weird, so I'm gonna call that a success. Had a good time. And so yeah, wrapping it up now. Again, just a mighty big old thanks to Jason over at Jason's Weird Reads for agreeing to get weird with me and co-host this event. I think we had a great time. We were really thrilled with the response of other people wanting to join us. And so yeah, that that makes you feel good, and so I think because because we have a good response, and I think we're going to try to because it is just a week long. A week long is great, so I think we're going to shoot for another week later on in the year. I'm thinking probably maybe September. I think September might be a good time for another week of weird, and maybe we'll make it a twice a year event. And so yeah, more to come as we sort of sort that out as the latter part of the year. But yeah, so thanks to everyone who joined us. Oh, it was so great to see what you guys were reading, and I've added so much more to my list that I want to read. I've watched some folks have vlogged already, and I've been watching that, and wrap ups and everything already for the week of weird, and it's just been excellent. But it's been great. And seeing how people interpret weird, I think for some people we're like, well, what is weird? What is weird fiction? And I think a lot of it is what does it feel weird to you? If it's weird to you, it's weird, right? And I think that's been part of the fun of this event too. So I think that's it, you guys. I'm gonna wrap it on up here. And thanks again for watching and hanging out with me during these vlogs. Thanks for joining for the week of weird. And until next time, y'all stay weird. All right.